Good evening, everybody. Apologies for the wait there. It started a bit later than planned. That's life for you. How is everyone? It's blank game week time, lads. Finally, we have some info. Not as much as info as I would have liked. Spurs, unfortunately, couldn't beat Rochdale today. But I'm pretty confident they'll win in the replay. Anyway, how are we all tonight? Jamie, what's up? Jossie, hi. Lots of people in already. Let the spreadsheeting begin. I've not done many spreadsheets this year. Maybe that explains my current FPL position. Kareem, how's it going? What's up, James? Yes, I think, just in case anyone didn't realise, we'll probably be talking about blank game weeks quite a lot tonight. I guess just to get it out of the way, I know this will be asked loads, but unless Spurs lose unless Spurs lose to Rochdale, we're good to go. Yeah, so the team's not blanking. Everton, Watford, Stoke, Liverpool, we already knew those. Now confirmed Bournemouth, West Brom, Huddersfield, Crystal Palace. Newcastle and Spurs will be added to that list if Spurs lose to Rochdale, but surely not happening. Have I burnt my triple captain already? No. Am I planning to keep Jones? Someone actually, I don't know if Tom's watching, but he asked me a question before. Do I think Jones has lost his place? I'm not so sure, to be honest. Apparently he's had a bust up with Mourinho, I think, but I don't know. I wasn't that surprised they missed the FA Cup game. Keep him fresh for the league. I think it'll be Jones and Bailly, but who knows? I can see me now getting rid of Alonso, keeping Jones. Jones misses out. Ah, hey Tom, how's it going? And then Alonso getting a double. Oh, hang on, I've got to take this hoodie off. Super warm in here. There we go. Lukaku has been a disaster. Bournemouth, Huddersfield, who and who? Oh man, come on. I don't want to keep reading out who's blanking because that'd be a very uninteresting stream. Everton, Watford, Stoke and Liverpool. We already knew those. And then confirmed this weekend, Bournemouth, West Brom, Huddersfield, Crystal Palace. That's it now. Job done. I'm still tempted to bring in some blanking players. Ericsson, Vardy and Mahrez, top of my list. Van Dijk, top of my list for players that are going to play. Because I think triple Liverpool just seems almost must have, I guess. Given their fixtures around the double. Yeah, some people are looking at Karius. Most people it's Firmino plus Salah plus one more, which would be Van Dijk or Mane. Some people are looking at Robertson and Karius. Awkward silence. Taking inhalers. Not heard much talk of Arnautovic. Yeah, I'll tell you now. Most of the talk will be around blanks and doubles from here on out. But Arnautovic looks good. Playing up front. Came back. Got a goal straight away. Fixtures are a bit hit and miss for West Ham though. Obviously someone pointing out that Lanzini is back as well. That can help. I just don't see where Arnautovic comes into my plans at the moment. You want to get Sterling out, but he's 9 million. You bought him for 8.2. I won't worry too much about the cost. It's whether the cost only comes into it if you think you're going to want him back anytime soon. Excuse me. God, not good start to the stream. The mouse has been moved. Is it too late to be still taking hits? Nope. It's never too late, although as the going weeks go on, it becomes less and less worthwhile, probably. Not less worthwhile, but obviously if you get the points back in a week, it's perfect. But you get less weeks for that to happen. Spurs have a fixture in Gameweek 31 versus Newcastle. They do for now. None of the fixtures have been chalked off yet until it's fully confirmed. But they will be soon. Spurs will have to wait until after the replay. A double game week hit is only -2 if both players start. No, the -2 thing only applies in blank game week, surely. Well, I guess it doesn't, though. I guess it doesn't. Thoughts on the Pogba situation? I'm not convinced there is a situation. Mourinho says he was ill. I can believe him. Maybe that's naive of me, but I don't know. I don't see why he would have left Pogba out. I guess we can only know in the next game, but it's Chelsea at home. I mean, it depends what other luxury moves you want to make. Or, not even luxury moves, what other moves you want to make. But Pogba out is probably not the worst move with Man United's fixtures. Yeah, the Spurs game's going to be moved, but it's still in the same game week. I think I wouldn't even like set yourself amount of points hits to take. Just wait and see what you need. Obviously, you can start planning. I'm fully expecting to take hits in the blank because I'll want a full team of 11 and I'll take the hits to do it. Especially if I'm going to wildcard in Game Week 32. Is there a reason for not using the free hit in the first blank? So it depends how many players you've got. Like if you watch the video I did today, I kind of gave the players we can bring in a tiering system. So, of course, you don't want to bring in, like, I don't know, Huddersfield defenders right now or Crystal Palace players right now. If you can bring in other players which are going to make your squad stronger and they don't blank, then perfect. And if you can make enough of them between now and then without kind of hurting the rest of your team, then I don't know if you need to use it in 31. To be honest. It all depends how many players you have playing. Like I've got 6, but Crouch doesn't really count. Ibe might not count if he's lost his place. So I got 4 transfers, that would bring me up to 8. Plus a few hits, I could get to 10 or 11. So I'm not going to use the free hit, I'm going to use that probably in Game Week 35. In Game Week 35, it's not that there's less players missing. In fact, there's more games will be off in 31 than 35, I think. I think I've got that right. The difference is which players are missing. So the reason people want to use it in 35 is because they will wildcard in 32 or 33. And they'll bring in players from like, let's say all the big teams or all the favourites win in the FA Cup. They'll bring in people from Chelsea, Spurs, who else even there, Man United. And they're probably players they'll want in their double game week teams, kind of in 34 and 37, whenever they fall. So they're going to use the wildcard to bring them in, and then the free hit in 35 to take them out. And maybe triple up on Arsenal or whoever misses out in 35. I haven't fully looked into it yet, but that's the that's why people are doing it that way. So there'll be less games off in 35, but there'll probably be teams who players you'll want outside of Game Week 35. I think if you don't have your free, or if you don't have the wild card, I suppose most of us have probably got the wild card, then it becomes a different story. How much of a disadvantage do you think people without the free hit are at? Surely it's difficult to wildcard in 32 and cover blanks in 35. Excuse me. I mean, there's different ways of playing it. You could just use triple captain in Gameweek 34, use hits around the double game week, get through 35 and then wildcard in 36. Fully load up on 37 and then bench boost. Because a lot of people right now are planning on using their wildcard in 32 or 33, bench boosting in 34, which is why they need the free hit. And then in 36 they'll obviously have no chips left apart from the triple captain, which will get used in 37. And yeah, as Fozzie points out, that's another thing to consider. The wildcard in 33. I mean, it's not that it doesn't. My thinking around that is, if you wildcard in 33, you don't get the extra transfer for 34, but you have an extra week's worth of knowledge, and you could use a free transfer from 31 to 32. But if you've loaded up with a load of 31 players that you don't want for 32, then you're a bit stuck. So yeah, if you wildcard in Gameweek 32, potentially you could save a free transfer in 33, because hopefully you've planned that far ahead, 1 week. And then you have 2 free transfers in Gameweek 34. Jim Winners, you got muted for no reason. Jamie, what did you do? The only problem is, I don't know how easily I can see who's blocked. Hang on a sec. Oh my god, this is such a mess. Jamie, if I... Oh, okay. You should be unblocked now. Harry, you got muted as well. I don't know. Maybe you said something just... I don't know. We won't look into it now anyway. I missed too many questions. Don't overthink blank Gameweek 31. Don't fill your team with rubbish. Oh, okay, hang on. Sorry, let me just check one thing. Okay. Anyway. Back to it. Yeah, so Fizzy says, don't overthink blank Gameweek 31. Don't fill your team with rubbish. A lot of players will outscore players even though they play a game less. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to do this season, because last season I kind of focused way too much on the blanks. Like, I really want Eriksen. So I really want a Spurs midfielder. I think the only problem is now they have to play an extra game, which is a bit annoying. So even though they probably blank in Gameweek 31, I still want Eriksen. And Leicester's fixtures are really good. So I'm looking at Mahrez and Vardy as well. If you bench boost in 34, free hit in 35, then you've only got 2 free transfers before Gameweek 37. Is that enough to tweak? With no one knows, I suppose, for now. The thing is, though, for me, because it's a double game week, if I need to tweak more than 2 transfers, I will take the hits. Because I feel like it's definitely worth it. Another reason I want to bench boost earlier is in case stuff's wrapped up by Gameweek 37. It might get a bit trickier to get a full squad out. Like, if City have got the league wrapped up, which they probably will by then, can they do it by 34? They probably can. Then it gets a bit trickier for them if they don't have players you can get in, and maybe top 4's wrapped up, relegation, etc. So I think I want to bench boost in 34. Don't get Vardy, you have him, we all know what happens. We all know what happens when I bring him in, yeah, I know. Me and him do not get on. Should Son go sooner rather than later? Yeah, I'd be a bit worried about Son. Got a feeling he's got a rest coming up in the Premier League. Are the same teams with doubles in 34 having it in 37 too? Not necessarily. So the guys with doubles in 34 are the ones that are, as far as I know, the ones that are blanking in 31. So the doubles in 37 will depend on players Sorry, teams getting through the next round of the FA Cup. Just came in and you said don't bench Reece at 34. No, I didn't say that. Don't think I said that. Is Aguero to Firmino a good move? You're not going to captain Aguero yet? Fair enough. And I like Firmino. He's done well for me. Obviously, he's been overshadowed by Aguero because Aguero went so big. But yeah, Firmino's a solid pick for the blank. And a solid pick in the run-up to the blank as well. Man United away, okay, tricky fixture, but one tricky fixture in the next 4. I don't know, I find people that seem to be getting rid of Aguero a bit too easily. I think the Jesus thing, you know, Jesus coming back, I think it's being overblown a bit. I don't think it's going to... I don't think it's going to matter too much to Aguero, at least until the league's wrapped up. But again, I can see why you're getting rid of him. If you're not going to captain him, fixtures are a bit trickier. You've got your points, maybe run now. Is Robertson a good shout? Yeah, I think he is. Especially if you can't afford Van Dijk, or if you want to go for the cheaper option. Jamie, I don't know why you're blocked. But yeah, maybe tweet me afterwards. And I will try and find out why. Can't see where you'd be. Oh, hang on. Hang on. Now try. Now try. How do I analyse my hits? I just take them and hope for the best. No, I'm just kidding. I'm slightly kidding. I mean, generally, I've said it before. I'd like to do it for long-term moves. If it's not a double game week or a blank game week, then I'll do it. I'd want that player to outscore someone, to outscore the one I'm taking out over the next 3 to 4 weeks minimum. Obviously, it's nice if they come in and outscore them straight away, but that's not always the case. As well, I'll sometimes take a hit for, like, if I want to plan for the future. So maybe I don't need the bench for the player right now, but maybe I need them going forward. And that gives me a way to make the big hitter transfer I need to make or something like that. So I've got Francis in, for example, as a hit to get Sanchez. But I've not really used Francis, but I did that to get Sanchez for those 2 game weeks where he was obviously did nothing, but he had 2 good fixtures. And I don't know, I always find it easier to tell myself it's easier to use a -4 if I've got 2 free transfers, because then I get 3 in total. It feels like you can overhaul your squad for very little points, basically. But in double game weeks, that all goes out the window, and it's almost like betting. You're betting on the player with double fixture and hoping for that big rank increase. And obviously, there is more chance of them recovering that hit in one single game week when it's a double. Hazard is hitting form. Adam hit Jamie at the start of the stream. Yeah, I don't know what happened there, but you should be back, I'd say now. There was one extra button I didn't hit. Have you been looking at cheap defenders from the teams with the Game Week 31 fixture? I mean, I've got Francis in already. I'm just going to bring up... Hang on. It's better. So, like, Francis, I don't know. Like, he was just cheap. Daniels might be a bit better, but, like, you could bring them in now, but they've only got a good fixture in 28 and then 2 tough fixtures and then a good one in 31. If you want a cheap defender, the one to get is Robertson, I think. You could maybe get Kenny if Coleman's going to be out for longer, or Cuca Martina, but I think Baines might be back now. Otherwise, West Brom defence, really. Because looking at the other sides, none of them really have good fixtures all the way through. So I'd put them at the bottom of my pile of wanting to bring them in, to be honest. Yeah, Everton, the thing For defence, they might be okay, but I've got Pickford and I'm not that confident. I mean, they've got 3 away games in the next 4. Watford and Burnley away. Obviously, Burnley not high scorers, but still. And Brighton at home, Stoke away. Yeah, Matt, yeah, nice and attacking. See, Watford have got 2 okay fixtures, and then it's Arsenal away and Liverpool away, so that's not great. So you're bringing in a Watford defender to play against your Liverpool attackers in 31. Do you reckon going out without a goalkeeper in 31 is fine? I don't know. I mean, sure, it's fine. You don't have to go for a full 11. But it depends who you're taking out and who you're bringing in. But for what I would class as a -2, if it's someone you're going to keep longer term after game week 31, then I would make the transfer personally. You might only put out 1 defender in 31. So I'm going to get a Liverpool defender and I'll have Bournemouth defender. Huddersfield defender maybe, but that'll be a game week 31 move, I think. Alonso's price is dropping. Yeah, Lingard's has dropped twice, I think. I'm leaking money all over the place. Is Gomez to Robertson 2 sideways? I mean, yes, it would look like a sideways move because obviously they're in the same defence. But yeah, you're right. Gomez and Trent kind of sharing minutes, so concentrate on your front 7 for game week 31. Yeah, but I mean, Firmino and Salah are going to cover 2 of those positions. Walcott and or Sigurdsson. No, I'm looking at maybe getting both. Maybe Shaqiri. And then I guess Wilson. Mounier and Alex Pritchard for Huddersfield attack. Yeah, getting Huddersfield players honestly will be a last resort for me, I think. Nias, yeah, fair enough. That's the one I missed out. I think he has to be for his price. He's a good enabler, to be honest. What, yeah, let me just... So I know Big Sam was basically saying they might start playing Tozen once their league position is wrapped up. I mean, they're on 34 points already, so they're not far off it. I mean, they're not getting relegated this season, let's be honest. So yeah, Nias could be good. You just got to hope he lasts all the way to 31 if you get him in this early. Keep Vardy or no, he's got good fixtures. If you've got Vardy, yeah, you definitely keep him, I think. I think with Vardy, you keep him till 31. And then you look at maybe getting rid. Not many people are talking about a Mane, Salah and Firmino triple up. Yeah, I think part of that is money. And who'd you take out? Like when I look at my team, obviously Salah and Sterling, not... I mean, I could take them out if I'm going to wildcard. I got a lot of money wrapped up in them. So it's where to fit Mane in and to get Sigurdsson. People looking at Walcott, Shaqiri. It's tougher to fit in. But they've got no really nice fixtures. Could be a big differential. I mean, obviously a lot of Mane is because of the hat-trick, but in the league he's not really done the business too often. Yeah, I mean, Van Dijk, I've not looked at the stats, to be honest, between Van Dijk and Robertson, but when I watch Liverpool play, anytime they have a corner, Van Dijk just looks so dangerous. Not a lot of expensive players playing game week 30 when you don't need enablers. Yeah, that's a fair point. Yeah, I could do Sanchez to Mane. I don't know, 3 attackers though. Are they going to go big against Watford? They could. Can you talk about Mahrez possibly? I mean, not a huge amount to say that I've not already said. Great fixtures. He looks back into the team now. You know, will he be as motivated? Maybe not, but you got to think that he'll probably be looking for a transfer out now in the summer. I mean, he's wanted to go for a couple of years now, but at least that's what the papers have said. I like Mahrez. If you haven't got him, it's a bit tougher, obviously, to bring him in than it is to make the decision to keep him. Because there's so many other players that people are looking at right now. But they've got such good fixtures. I really would be tempted. I think you've missed the boat with Shaqiri. I'm in two minds about Shaqiri, to be honest. Because one of the reasons I didn't bring him in already is because he's got Leicester away and Southampton away. But are they the worst fixtures? Probably not. Man City at home's not great, but then it's Everton at home in the blank. I think his fixtures are mixed. I don't know. But then again, I've said that for the last few weeks, and he's done alright. A Man United fan going triple Liverpool forwards, that's got to hurt. Not in the slightest, to be honest. It's just a game, you know. The Gameweek 31 fixtures, they've updated them, have they? Let's have a look. Blooming Spurs not winning. Okay, let's have a look. Ah, yeah, there we go. The blanks are confirmed. Good, good. Oh, I'm really worried about having Pickford, to be honest, but I just can't get rid of him. I don't want to spend that transfer to get rid of him now. You wouldn't go double Everton attack. You're absolutely woeful away. You might have 40 points wrapped up by Stoke. Maybe you'll go all out attacking. I don't know. I'm probably going to go for Walcott ahead of Sigurdsson. And decide on Sigurdsson in Game Week 31. Game Week 30 looks like a bit of a nightmare for those playing in 31. Let me have a look. Yeah, it's not the... So out of the 8 teams playing in Game Week 31, 5 of the fixtures for those teams are Chelsea away, Spurs at home, Man United away, Man City at home, and Arsenal away. So yeah, it's not great. Everton have got a good fixture, West Brom's is okay, and Huddersfield's okay too. Yeah, Pickford has to be nailed on, but I'm not completely happy about it, to be honest. Arnautovic or Walcott. I'm going to get Walcott in, and I know that is with 31 in mind. I feel like they'll be close. I think Arnautovic is a good pick, but Walcott's quite close to him. And with the non-blank in 31, I can't help but go for him over Arnautovic. He has 3 away games though. Burnley away as well is tough. Will Spurs play on 31 because FPL shows they'll play? They have to show that right now because of the replay. They've got a... If Spurs beat Rochdale, they'll blank. Ditch Hazard for a hit. Oh, wow. Or is he playing too well? I don't know. A lot of people were talking about Hazard in the chat earlier, saying they're happy they held on to him. It doesn't get much worse than Man United and Man City away in the next fixture, though. I don't know about taking him out for a hit. I mean, he has terrorised Man United before. Depends whether Herrera is back to do a job on him. Bearing in mind, he did a job on him once. He got sent off in the other one. Have you got any thoughts for players you're getting in for double game weeks? Oh my god. I've not hugely thought about that yet, if I'm honest. I've not even checked the fixtures actually for 34. I mean, a triple up for Spurs looks good, depending on their fixtures. Chelsea maybe. Never mind, I've asked the question 5 times and you never reply. I know, I am the worst person. The worst. Actually, let me have a quick look at Game Week 34. The reason I haven't looked too far ahead to Game Week 34 is because I'm going to wildcard. So I don't need to worry about it until closer to the time. Oh, Spurs playing Man City, not great. Arsenal, Newcastle away, and... Oh, I don't know who they had in 31. Am I worried about Burnley assets? They seem to have declared for the season. They're not in the greatest form. I mean, I've only got me. I mean, Southampton and Everton at home, I think are okay fixtures, to be honest. I'm probably going to play me this week. But yeah, you're probably right. They've not been great recently, especially for clean sheets. How many points have they got, actually? Let's have a look. I should keep the Premier League table up, really. Oh yeah, because they were yeah, they're 7th. Wow. I don't know. Gonna push for Europe maybe. I mean, they are 9 points behind Arsenal. So that seems tough, but yeah, they're not too far off being safe with a bunch of games in hand. How's it going, Mr. Vader? Will me finally score? I don't know, given that one worrying. I might actually bench Jones this week. Tempted to play Duffy ahead of him. You're leaning towards captaining Sanchez. Oh, I can't keep him. I am a bit worried that I'm going to get rid and he's going to go mad, and I wish I'd never done it. But what are our fixtures again now? Chelsea at home. Palace away, Liverpool at home, then nothing. I'm going to get rid of him, I think. How's it going, Big Ricey? Is my room shrinking? No. Now 31's been removed. Man City's fixtures look really bad. So what is it? Arsenal away, Chelsea at home, Stoke away, and then nothing. Yeah, Man City's fixtures aren't good, are they? Yeah, Mawson's injured though for Swansea. I mean, well, that could play a big part. Van Dijk for Alonso to a wildcard. I am eyeing that up. Let's do a few mock transfers here a sec. Hang on a second, lads. So obviously Sanchez frees up a lot of money. Let me just pull the chat back up. Oh, you bought in Mawson last week. That's harsh. I don't know. I don't know how bad his injury is, but it did not look good when he was walking off. Who am I looking for here, lads? Van Dijk. I think I might be more tempted. Oh, I don't know. That is some nice fixtures for Leicester. More tempted to get Vardy, I think. Let's say I go for Ericsson. Lingard to Walcott. Where are you, son? What does that leave me with? 3.4. Oh, just off Crouch. Just off the Vardmeister. Could get Robertson instead of Van Dijk. That will give me another 2 blanking players, or non-blanking players, plus 2 really good players for the next 3. But I really want Van Dijk. Or I just don't make the move at all, just take a -4 and play Ibe this week. Or I just get Wilson in. And have a bunch of cash money in the bank. I'm not so interested in Son now, if I'm honest. A little bit worried about his starting time. I know he's been pretty nailed, but I got a feeling Lamella might start this week. Yeah, I mean, like Jones to Davis, yeah, I could do that, but I can't take too many hits. So I could, obviously I said it in, Fozzie pointed out as well. So here's the thing about hits as well, actually, because people were saying about him. This is actually a little bit risky because, you know how I was saying I could bring Eriksen and Vardy in, and what the hope is that they score really good points over the next 3, and I get my points back to then take them out. But I'm taking a hit as well to bring them in. So then it's kind of 8 points per player. It's a bit trickier to get the points back then. The only thing is, I'm getting Robertson in when I really want Van Dijk, so that I can get Vardy in that doesn't play in 31. So it's not, I don't know, I'm not too keen on that, if I'm honest. Could just do that. Take a -4. I could even play 4-4-2 this week. Play Duffy, me, Francis, and Van Dijk, and just really hope for the best. What about finding a way to upgrade City? I don't know what you mean. Yeah, Wilson could be decent. I don't need to make those transfers. I'm just tempted to make a few transfers. I mean, I could not make the Alonso move as well and not get Van Dijk in here. I'm just tempted to make like a -8 and just overhaul my squad a bit. I feel like it's stagnating a little. Then again, I've not had a green arrow for a while. I don't know if taking loads of hits is the way to get that arrow to be green. Crouch to Aubameyang. Now, Aubameyang is someone I would like for those 2 Arsenal fixtures that are good coming up. But I don't want him against Man City, and obviously he's going to blank, so it's tough to justify getting him in. I don't have to play Ayub or Crouch. I could play 4-4-2. Can I assume you're now planning to use the free hit for 35? Yeah, I think so, yeah. I mean, I could completely ignore Walcott and Van Dijk for now. Although I think Van Dijk is a good pick regardless of the game in 31. But I could just go full out for players who are good for the next 3, and then free hit in Gameweek 31. That could work. But then I might be a little bit stuck for 35. Sanchez played alongside Lukaku. I don't know. I just don't think we're that good right now, to be honest. And I've got 2 free transfers. I need to make some transfers somewhere. Now, I could just get Van Dijk in and Wilson for Crouch, for example, and keep Sanchez. But that means I also keep Lingard as well. And I ain't too keen on that, if I'm honest. So, I have looked at ways to keep Sanchez, but I feel like I'm just going to hurt myself in the long run. But you could do this. Yeah, I think that puts me a little bit off getting Wilson. 0.3 million to be fair. So again, I could get Robertson and keep Sanchez, but I'm not sure about that. Alonso's pretty much going, yeah. Am I keeping Ibe? I'm pretty worried about his minutes too. But he's going to probably, in my team, become the 5th midfielder bench fodder. So I'm probably going to keep him and see what his minutes are like running up to 31, then decide if I need to play him or not. I mean, Sigurdsson's on corners, which is always nice. But I think Walcott's probably got a bit more goal threat. A bit cheaper too. Could get Nias for Crouch. It's very difficult to get rid of City players and know when to do it. Yeah, I mean, I'm not looking at getting rid of Sterling, to be honest, for now. Wildcard might be a different story. Defenders, though, I mean, they're not keeping clean sheets right now, so I think getting rid of defenders is easier. Yeah, I definitely consider Van Dijk an option. Everyone's saying about Alonso's record. I mean, he's got a very good record this year against the top 6. Are Chelsea as good now as they were then? I don't know. I mean, they looked in a pretty bad spot, but then they just had back-to-back wins, so... You know, maybe they're turning the corner again. Yeah, Shaqiri... I don't know. I just don't really like Shaqiri's fixtures, but... You can't knock his recent returns, to be honest. So maybe I'm looking at not getting him for the wrong reasons. Maybe his fixtures aren't as bad as I think they are. David, we're over the Aguero thing now. We can't go into that again. I've spoken about that enough. People are bored of it. Aguero's last week's chat. Now we're talking about blank game weeks. Walcott and Shaqiri. You look a lot better with a target manager, yeah. Absolutely, I would agree with that. I mean, do you think Giroud's going to keep playing ahead of Morata? He might do. Maybe I got that wrong too. Mkhitaryan is a great pick, surely, with the fixtures coming up. But just remember that 2 of the fixtures in the next 4 are a blank and Man City. So yes, the 2 fixtures in between are good if you've got chances to bring him in and out. But otherwise, not great. Who plays this game week? Everybody plays this game week. Am I getting Kane out after game week 30? Probably not. I'll probably just play Firmino plus one other up front. And bench Kane. Like someone said earlier, the players we're looking at for game week 31 are not that expensive. And I've got money tied up in Kane. And he'll definitely be on my wildcard. Should we not judge a player's total score between now and when you're wildcarding? Even if it means a low blank game week score? Yeah, of course, yeah. The thing with FPL is, no one ever really does that. And it's also very hard sometimes to... A lot of people kind of say, oh, well, I wildcard at this time, it was the absolute right choice because I got X amount of points. But you don't know what would have happened if you'd waited. It's almost like deal or no deal. People say what they might have done or they would have done or they probably would have done. But you just never know for sure. So yeah, of course we should just judge a player between now and wildcard. But again, if you I don't know, if you get Mahrez and Eriksen in right now, then yes, you could go back and say, well, I would have done this if I hadn't gone for those 2. But is it that accurate? I don't know. I get what you're saying. It's just hard to measure that in the end. I mean, if you've got no money tied up in Kane and you're definitely going to wildcard, then there's no harm in taking him out, but I mean, who are you bringing in for him that you need the money? You don't have a wildcard. Do I still think it's worth bringing in a lot of players for 31 if you can't get rid of them immediately? I mean, sure, if they're players you don't want to keep, then yeah, you've got to think a bit more about it. Maybe don't get as many. So let's have a look at Everton, for example. So if you bring in players like Walcott, from game week 32 onwards, they got Man City at home, Liverpool at home, not great. Swansea away. Swansea are actually doing pretty good right now. Then Newcastle at home, which is okay. But immediately after 31, the fixtures aren't great. I think Stoke are similar. Yeah, Arsenal away, Spurs at home straight after 31. So a lot of these teams don't have great fixtures afterwards. Who else is blanking that we're looking at? Stoke. Liverpool pretty good. Watford have Bournemouth and Burnley afterwards at home, so that's not bad. Maybe you need to look more Watford than Stoke, for example. Cheers, Physio. See you later on. Anyone without a wild card is as good as finished. Nah, come on, it's not that bad. And we're looking at 32 or 33 wildcard. I'm not completely decided on that. I kind of like waiting until 33. It's just how bad my team might look in 32 if I do that. You think Marius Eriksson gets more points over the next 4 than a Game Week 31 player, except for Liverpool? Yeah, but they're also more money, remember, as well. So you've got to take that into account. Most people aren't looking at players that expensive for Game Week 31. Walcott and Sigurdsson probably the most expensive that aren't Liverpool. Does Walcott guarantee points? I don't know about guarantee. Yeah, no, we talked about West Brom's fixtures earlier, so just to remind people, it's Huddersfield at home, Watford away, Leicester at home, Bournemouth away. Those fixtures are okay. I do worry a bit about West Brom right now, but Higazi, maybe Dawson, something like that. When a double game week's confirmed, I don't actually know. Yeah, of course, I can sort Sanchez for Mahrez and Ericsson, and then maybe reassess closer to game week 31. Another way to potentially do it is get players like Mahrez, Vardy, Ericsson in now, go for the next 3 game weeks, kind of see how your team pans out, and then, do you know what I mean? I still have a few weeks where I can start getting in a couple of blank players here and there, and then take hits if need to, or I just free hit in 31. Is it better to choose the more attacking defender of an informed team, or the defender who has less ownership? I mean, I wouldn't necessarily be looking at ownership for that. I mean, think about how you've worded the question. If you think, you've essentially worded it that you think Van Dijk might get attacking returns, or do you go for Robertson, who might get you less points, but he's owned by less? Like, if you think Van Dijk's going to score more points, then get Van Dijk. If you've got the money. Looking at a free hit in 31 and a late wildcard in 36. In the back of my mind, I've got that I took a... In Game Week 28 last week, which I think was the big blank, I took a minus 16 and came out with a 10k Game Week rank. I can't get that out of my head. I made 5 transfers that week and came out on top. You could argue that Robertson offers more attacking threat than Van Dijk. I'll tell you what. Let's have a look at this. Let's compare the two. How many games has Van Dijk played so far? 3. Oh, he didn't play in 25. That's annoying. So game week 20. Okay, last 4 game weeks basically. I mean, obviously Robertson offers his attack and return in a slightly different way, I suppose. Obviously more open play than Van Dijk. Oh, came up with Van Arnold instead of Van Dijk. I tell you what, Robertson's not bad, is he? I prefer Van Dijk. Yeah, he's only played 3 games in the league. I think Arnautovic is still a good pick for the next 3. But his fixtures aren't like, if you've got the money, then I think Mahrez and Eriksen are going to provide better returns. But obviously, they're also more expensive. Also, one thing we haven't mentioned is one thing that appeals to me about bringing in Eriksen now is you get him for the 3 good fixtures, and if worse comes to the worst, they lose to Rochdale, you've then got an extra player in for 31. Will this period of the season be as critical as people have made out? Yeah, to be honest. This really separates the men from the boys, I would say. This area of the season. The chips come into play. Lots of the people that are towards the top of FPL have used a few of their chips already. The double game weeks can be usually always get a green arrow in double game weeks if you've got wildcards and stuff. It won't always work like that. Some people will mess up their bench boost, or they'll get a triple captain fail and it'll work out to nothing. But the double game weeks in particular are big. If you can plan around the blanks and stuff, you're already one step ahead of a lot of the competition. If Spurs lose the FA Cup replay and they have a fixture in game week 31, will I still captain Salah? I mean, that gets a bit trickier then, because it's Salah versus Watford at home or Spurs versus Newcastle at home. 12:30 fixture. Oh no, sorry, it's a Friday night game for Kane. I'd probably still captain Salah, I think, because it'd be super close. You're 43k, 7 players in who are playing the 31, all 4 chips remain intact. Yeah, you're in a solid position there, yeah. Anyone else chilled about game week 31? I am actually, surprisingly. I'm honestly looking at like Vardy and Eriksen in, just for the next 3 and hope for the best. Aguero to Kane, I think that's a very... well, you tell me. I think that sounds like a very easy transfer to make, I reckon. And maybe not so easy because he did so well over the last 4 weeks, but can't be missing out on Kane for the next lot. How many hits am I looking to make this week? I don't see me just making 2 transfers. I think I'll take a -4 or -8. Haven't yet decided. Aguero to Kane is pure luxury. I don't know, is it? Is it possible to download the stream watch later? So if you've missed the start right now, you can rewind. Or yeah, you could download it later on and watch it. Yeah, Nias for Crouch is an option. Wilson for Crouch is an option. Vardy is another option. But yeah, I don't see me only making 2 transfers this week. My squad's annoying me. It's not doing enough right now. Meunier, yeah, but is he... Let me just quickly look him up a sec, because I'll be honest, I've not hugely been looking at Huddersfield players. Yeah, like they're missing games every now and again. They're all... Depocho, him and Quaynard, they're all getting like limited minutes. I mean, Meunier seems to start the most, but don't know. He had a big score earlier in the season. Everyone got him in and did nothing. The Arsenal fixtures are going under the radar. I don't know if they are, to be honest. I think there's good reason for it. Man City at home. I don't know if I fancy that. They have been doing okay at home, to be fair. But then it's Brighton away and Watford at home. Now, don't get me wrong. After that, I'm up for getting Arsenal players in. But are Brighton away and Watford at home good enough to bring in a player and get rid of him again? If you need to get rid of him again. If you don't, fair enough. I've just realised as well, I've gone the whole stream without saying... without saying, hit the like button if you wouldn't mind. And more importantly, there are 4 polls up at the moment. So go and vote on them if you haven't already. We'll actually do them now. We'll do the polls right now. Well, I'll give you a couple of minutes. So if you haven't already, go and vote on the polls. And then we'll go through them. Yeah, no, I was chatting about Vardy earlier. I'm looking at Vardy and Eriksen in potentially. And just kind of ignoring game week 31 for a bit longer. I can see me just winging it. No, I'm not staying away from Vardy. He'll come good for me one day. Just seeing how much money I have left over. Eriksen, 5.2, but not if we get rid of Alonso. Oh no, we did this earlier, didn't we? 6.9. So I could get Shaqiri. It's a tempter, it's a tempter. Or I get Mahrez and the ass, or Mahrez and Wilson. Maybe that works out better. Actually, yeah, maybe that does work out better. Let's have a look here. Can see me getting Wilson and then he gets injured. Maybe that's better. -8. I get 2 players in for the blank who are got decent fixtures in them. And I get 2 players in with nice fixtures before that. Well, I'll get Walcott in later on. Mahrez or Eriksen can go for Walcott. The polls are in the top right hand corner. Depending on what device you're using to watch, you either have to hover over the little eye or click in the top right. Stanislas, if he's fit, is the best midfielder we have. Yeah, Stanislas is decent. He's just very injury prone. Where's the already spunked the wildcard option gone? It's not there, I'm afraid. Should have been there actually, I forgot to put it on. Oops. I think Mahrez is going to start, yeah. Do I need to make all 4 moves this week? Nah, I don't need to, but... why not? I mean, I could. Can I get away with just those 2 moves? Yeah, there you go. I could just bring in Eriksen, Mahrez and worry about game week 31 a bit longer. Or I could bring in Nias and not do the Alonso move. It's also another option. Basically, I've got a lot of options. Is Mahrez's head going to be in it? Is obviously a different question. Yeah, assisted Vardy in the FA Cup. I'll be honest, I didn't watch that game, so I don't know how he played. It's not the first time he's had a setback of not being able to leave Leicester. And the weird thing about Mahrez is, it's not like he started playing really well before that Man City move come in for the transfer, because it didn't really seem like a transfer was going to happen. It was a last minute thing when Sané got injured. Or when they didn't get Sanchez. You're getting out Sanchez. Who's the other mid? Lingard. Jay Lings. Would Van Dijk and Wilson get you the extra 8 to cover the hits? Don't talk sensible like that. Yeah, but otherwise I'm playing 4-4-2 or playing Ibe. I don't know if I want to do that. Right, I'm going to do the polls now. While I'm doing that, don't forget to hit that like button. Let's get to 100 before the stream's out. You'll enjoy the pain of Game Week 32 wildcard managers when life happens. What? Okay, polls. Which Liverpool player to play alongside Salah and Firmino? And I know not everyone's got Firmino necessarily, but I'm assuming most people have got Salah. Van Dijk, top of the shop, maybe unsurprisingly, 51%. And then it's actually Robertson at 26%. I suppose I could have just put in defender instead of both of them, but that kind of shows that people are looking at bringing in a defender as their third Liverpool option instead of Mane, who does come in third, 16%. Let me get the polls on this screen. And then Karius 3%, and then someone else 1%. Don't know who people are looking at for someone else, but a few people have clicked that at least. So it looks like bringing in defender in ahead of Mane is maybe the way forward. Or at least the way people are looking right now. Walcott or Sigurdsson, 69% are saying Walcott ahead of Sigurdsson, only 30% on Siggy. I guess maybe because he's a bit cheaper, kind of helps. How many players do you already have for Game Week 31? So 6 to 7 is 48%, and less than 5 is 43%. Be interesting to know, for those people that clicked less than 5, how many you have exactly. 5% on 8 to 9. 1% of you apparently are on 9 to 11, and none of you have more than 11. So 6 to 7 seems about the average right now. When are you wildcarding? So yes, I forgot to put in the already wildcard option. My apologies. Game Week 32 seems the most popular right now, 55%. And then 17% saying Game Week 33. 13% saving it for later in the season, and 12% are going to use it before Game Week 32. So most people are looking at 32 there. Oh, excuse me. Let me put that back across there. Bring up the chat. What have people been saying? How's it going, Jansky? So you've only got 3, 4, 5. How's it going, Jack? Yeah, my day has been mostly uneventful. Been a bit hungover, to be honest. Got a new bottle of Disaronno yesterday. I couldn't bring myself to even finish it. It was just too much. You sent me a YouTube PM. Well, rather than an email. I gotta be honest, I don't even know where you check YouTube PMs. Although I could probably work it out. Did I watch the Groves versus Eubank fight? No. What formation do you recommend? It depends on the players you got, to be honest. 3-5-2, 3-4-3 are the main ones. One of those two, basically. Alderweireld did play today. I think he messed up for the second goal. Didn't see it, but I heard about it. Okay, I've just seen your message. I've just replied. Okay, I see I've got another message from 3 months ago. I don't tend to reply to messages about FPL questions. Someone even started sending me emails this week with FPL questions. It's not happening. Yeah, I suppose Alderweireld has been out. Okay, so it wasn't his fault. Fair enough. But I suppose he is. He has been out a little while. He's probably going to be a bit rusty. Aguero owner here. You're really tempted to sell to bring Kane back. Yeah, exactly. I think if you took out Kane to get Aguero for the fixtures and it worked out so well, why not make the reverse move? Especially with the points you made out of it. How's it going, Andrew? Glad to see you in your first ever live stream. I mean, I will break it to you that we're close to the end, but it's still good that you got here in the end. You're honeymooning in St. Lucia, but you just tuned in for a quick minute. What a legend. The missus isn't really checking the team, to be honest. I think she missed a few weeks, especially over Christmas, and just fell out of love with it. Yeah, Vertonghen looks to be the best pick from if you're going to bring a Spurs defender in. See you later, Daniel. Would I take Mahrez and Son or Vardy and Eriksen? That's got to be Vardy and Eriksen. I can't imagine anyone saying otherwise. Am I most motivated by mini leagues or overall rank? It used to be mini leagues. But now I do all these streams and stuff, I kind of want to get a good overall rank. And I know most people will say one comes with the other. You get a good overall rank, you get a good mini league, but it doesn't completely work like that. And not when you start getting in differentials for mini league reasons who aren't necessarily great for overall rank reasons. Your wife's not proud of you. Well, congratulations on getting married. Just tell her you'll only be here for a few minutes. It's all good. Tell her to tune in as well. Hit that like button. Tell her she's on a honeymoon. She's got to log into YouTube, load up the stream, hit that like button, then she can go back to sunbathing or whatever you guys are up to. I think Son to Mane sounds like a nice move. We'll put it this way, in one of my mini leagues that I wanted to win, when I saw Aguero in the guy at the top's team 4 weeks ago, I thought, nice, I might be able to make up some ground. He then decided to score 8 goals and captain him most weeks, and now I'm miles behind. I think I had cut it down to about 30, 35 points. Now I think I'm 80 behind or something ridiculous. You're a Crouch owner too. Do you keep him for the only fixture in Game Week 31? Or only for that fixture? I'm going to get rid of him, I think. So actually, it's a good point. When I said I was going to bring in Van Dijk and Wilson to give me 2 more players, I suppose it does give me 2 more nailed players, but it takes out one of the ones I've already got. Right, lads, I think we're going to leave it there. Been going for well over an hour at this point. So we've answered most questions about the blank game weeks. If you haven't already, I did make a video about the blank game weeks with just info around who's playing who's playing when, what players to look out for, when to maybe look at bringing them in, etc. So go and check that out if you haven't already. We'll be back for another stream this week, probably Thursday. I think, sorry. Let me just have a look here. Yeah, probably Thursday. We'll go for the next stream. Obviously be closer to the game week starting then. But yeah, I wanted to get something up today because obviously the blanks are coming in. We know what's happening now for the most part. Hopefully Spurs win the next game to make it a bit easier. Plus, the more blanks there are, the more double game week teams there are. So I kind of want Spurs to go through. Although it would be funny to see them knocked out by Rochdale. Either way, if you haven't already, hit the like button on the way out. Be much appreciated. Subscribe if you're new around here. Go and watch the blank video. Let me know what you think. Otherwise, I will see you on Thursday. Cheers for tuning in, everybody. Catch you.